Welcome, deep divers. Okay, so it's June 21st, 2025. That means it's World Music Day.
Happy World Music Day.
Yeah. And, whether it's someone strumming on a street corner or a huge star on stage, music, it connects everyone,
Right.
right? No translation needed.
Absolutely. It's universal.
But thinking about how we listen to music now compared to, I don't know, even just 20 or 30 years ago, it's just completely different.
Oh, completely. Night and day.
It feels like we're light years away from vinyl and those old boom boxes.
Yeah.
So what's really driven this massive change? How did digital tech flip everything upside down? Let's try and unpack this.
It's a great place to start because, yeah, it's not just an evolution. It really is a total revolution.
Right.
Every single step, from how music's made to how it's shared, how you end up hearing it, it's all been fundamentally reworked.
Mm-hmm.
And what's fascinating here is how it went from being this, physical thing you dot to this global jukebox.
Yeah.
Suddenly it's everywhere for everyone.
Yeah.
But that ease of access, it sort of started changing how we value music too, didn't it? From something precious to almost like background noise sometimes.
That's such a good point. I mean, I remember the 80s, right? You had your Walkman,
Oh yeah, the Walkman.
that clunky thing,
Yeah.
and you'd have your Thriller cassette praying the machine wouldn't eat the tape.
The worst feeling when the tape got mangled.
Exactly. And now,
Yeah.
my phone holds more songs than, like, a whole record store from the 90s. It's wild. So how did we get here? What really kicked the door down on the old way of doing things?
Well, the first big kick was definitely the internet itself, and specifically file sharing.
Ah, Napster.
Napster, yeah. Late 90s, the music industry was, this fortress. Labels controlled everything. Then, boom, 1999, Napster arrives.
The Wild West.
Totally.
Yep.
Free MP3 sharing everywhere. The labels understandably freaked out.
Hmm.
Lawsuits flew. Napster got shut down in 2001.
Oh.
But the cat was out of the bag.
The revolution had started.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Music wasn't just a CD anymore. It was a digital file. It could just zip around the world instantly. It wasn't just about piracy, though. It showed people wanted music easier, more accessible.
Okay, so Napster blew the doors open illegally. What was the first, legal attempt to give people that digital access they clearly wanted?
That's where Apple stepped in, big time. The iPod and the iTunes Store launched back in 2003.
Right, the click wheel.
Yeah. And it was brilliant because it was legal and easy. Suddenly you could buy songs for, 99 cents?
Mm-hmm.
And store thousands on this tiny little device. No more scratch CDs, no rewinding tapes, your whole collection in your pocket.
Game changer, but still buying individual songs.
Exactly. Still ownership, which paved the way for the next big thing, Spotify, launching in 2008.
Ah, the streaming era begins.
Precisely. Spotify flipped the question. Instead of why buy, it was why buy when you can just rent.
Mm-hmm.
Access over ownership.
Like an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Perfect analogy. Millions of songs for a monthly fee, or even free with ads.
Yeah.
That totally reshaped the economics and democratized access like never before. But yeah, it also created this whole new economic model we're still figuring out.
Yeah, that whole renting idea really did change everything for listeners. But what about the people making the music? It used to cost a fortune, right? Studio time, engineers, crazy equipment.
Oh, absolutely. It was super exclusive. You needed serious cash or a big label behind you.
So how did digital break that barrier down?
That's where DAWs came in. Digital audio workstations?
Like Ableton Logic.
Exactly. Ableton Live, FL Studio, Logic Pro. These software programs basically turned your laptop into a recording studio.
Wow.
So suddenly anyone with a decent computer and, the drive could make professional-sounding music.
Think about someone like Vasundhara Vee in Mumbai, amazing jazz and soul singer.
Yeah.
She's proof you don't need $1 million setup anymore. You can record, edit, mix everything right from your bedroom. Cut out the gatekeepers, cut down the costs. You just have to maybe kick the cat off the keyboard sometime.
Exactly. A small price to pay for that kind of creative freedom, right?
Definitely. And it wasn't just recording original stuff, was it? What about things like sampling?
Oh, digital tech supercharged sampling too. Hip-hop pioneers did amazing things with turntables and hardware samplers like the Akai MPC back in the day.
Right, chopping breaks.
Yeah. But digital made it so much easier, like being a sushi chef with audio files. You can grab a bit of this, a slice of that,
So you could sample like an old Bollywood song, mix it with techno.
and have it on SoundCloud by lunchtime.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Sartek, the Indian DJ. He blends folk, Bollywood, house, Afro beats, creates these global dance tracks.
That sounds cool. But does all this accessibility have a downside for creators?
It does. That's the kicker. It's amazing that anyone can produce music, but it also means the market is absolutely flooded.
Right. Harder to stand out.
Way harder.
Yeah.
Like finding parking in Mumbai. Seriously.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes the quality, well, it varies. But the sheer amount of creativity being unleashed, that's undeniable. Which brings up a big question. How do you even get noticed in all that noise?
Yeah, exactly. Because making the music is one thing, but getting people to hear it is another battle. Distribution used to be about shipping CDs, hoping stores would stock them.
And hoping they didn't just gather dust.
Right. So how did that change? How did those distribution gatekeepers lose their power?
Digital platforms just bypass them completely. Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music. Artists can now just upload their tracks directly to the whole world.
The scale is just nuts. You mentioned YouTube streams in India, 4.6 trillion in 2024.
Trillion. It's mind-boggling. People listening to everyone from Diljit Dosanjh to Taylor Swift. It's incredible reach for independent artists, too, like B. Prack or Janita Gandhi. They don't need a label deal in the same way anymore.
Which sounds amazing. Democratization, right.
It is, but, and this is a big but,
Mm-hmm.
the money they get per stream, it's tiny.
Pennies or fractions of pennies.
Exactly. You need millions, literally millions, of streams just to make anything substantial. So artists rely heavily on other things.
Like playing live, or getting songs in movies or ads.
Precisely. Live shows, sync deals, that's often where the actual income comes from. It's this weird paradox. Huge reach, tiny direct payments from streaming itself.
And you can't talk distribution now without mentioning social media, right? Instagram, TikTok, feels like they're the new MTV.
Oh, absolutely monumental. A 15-second TikTok clip can make an unknown artist go viral overnight. Remember Old Town Road?
Yeah, that was all from TikTok initially.
Exactly. And artists like Jubinashal use it to connect directly with fans, share behind-the-scenes stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It builds that connection.
So the control shifted, away from labels and radio.
Massively. It's more direct artist to fan now, which is fascinating. This whole new way of building a career and an audience.
It really is. Okay, so creation is easier, distribution is global. What about how we listen? We went from the Walkman, making music portable,
1979. Groundbreaking then.
to the iPod, stuffing thousands of songs in our pockets. Then the wires vanished. AirPods in 2016, making us all look like spies.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that took some getting used to.
And now, smart speakers. Amazon Echo, Google Home. Just yell across the room, play some Bad Bunny while you're making dinner.
The ultimate convenience. And they're getting smarter. You mentioned Amazon launching English Echoes in India.
Yeah. Bye, Toddy Si Bollywood Bajao. It's the future. And these things link up, right? Smart home ecosystems turning your living room into a concert venue.
It's seamless. But here's where it gets a bit weird, maybe.
How so?
Well, all this choice, it's almost too much. 35 million songs on Spotify alone. Choosing a playlist feels like a major life decision.
Decision paralysis.
Totally. Algorithms help, obviously. They suggest stuff based on what you like. And sometimes,
Yeah.
honestly, it feels like they know your taste better than you do.
Which is kind of creepy.
Maybe a little creepy, but definitely convenient. But stepping back, does this constant, easy access change how we feel about music? Has it gone from something we treasure to just background noise?
Wallpaper music. Yeah, that's a worrying thought. Okay, let's talk money. Brass tacks. Back in '99, the industry was huge, $25 billion plus, mostly CDs.
Yeah, the peak physical era.
Then piracy hit, digital disruption. By 2014, it tanked to around $14 billion. Streaming basically rescued it, right? Revenue climbing again, mostly from subscriptions.
Streaming definitely brought revenue back, yeah. First half of 2021, $5.9 billion, 84% of the total. The industry globally is growing again.
But are the artists seeing that boom? Because the per-stream payout is still so low.
Generally, no. Not directly from streams unless you're at the very, very top. Most artists rely on live shows, concerts, festivals. That's where the real money often is. Merch sales, too.
Even virtual shows now, like on Oculus venues.
Yeah, that's growing, too. But live is still king, though even that has challenges, rising costs, visa issues for touring, ticket scalpers.
Ugh, scalpers, don't get me started.
Right. So how does this play out specifically in a market like India? It's got its own unique dynamics.
Yeah, what's the picture there?
Well, the Indian industry hit around $620 million in 2024, though it dipped slightly. Film music is still dominant, about 63% of listening.
But that's down from 80%.
Exactly. Down from 80% just 4 years ago. That's a big shift. It shows indie artists are really gaining ground. People like Vasundhara Vee, Sartek, Neil Adhikari. They're blending genres, doing exciting stuff outside the Bollywood machine.
And there's startups helping them too.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Companies like Hoopro.ai helping creators license indie music easily, Or Damru, building platforms focused on regional and indie artists, helping them manage copyrights.
Like fairy godmothers for musicians.
Kind of. They're empowering artists, helping them navigate the business side, pushing back against the old ways. Even with challenges like YouTube's dominance, indie artists are carving out their own space. It's pretty cool to watch.
That's really encouraging. Okay, we've looked back, looked at now. Let's look forward. It feels like things are speeding up even more. What's next? 2025 feels like we're living in sci-fi sometimes.
Buckle Up is right. AI is a huge one. Tools like Suno and Udio. You just type a prompt, reggae song about my dog, and it makes it
Actually, a whole song.
a whole song. It's wild. But copyright issues are massive. Labels are already suing. Where does creativity come from if an AI makes it? Big questions there.
Okay, what else? VR concerts.
Yep, platforms like Oculus venues, attend a show from your couch, digital fireworks and all. It's cool, makes things accessible. But is it the same as being there?
Probably not the same as a sweaty mosh pit, no.
Definitely not. And then you've got NFTs and blockchain, artists selling digital collectibles, exclusive tracks, maybe cutting out middlemen.
Like digital merch, but unique.
Kind of. Like selling a rare digital trading card for music. Is it a gimmick? A tech bro fever dream? Or will it actually stick and change how artists connect with fans and make money? We'll see.
Right, lots of potential, lots of question marks. But all this amazing tech, surely there's a downside too, the sort of dark side to this revolution.
There definitely is. We touched on it. The sheer volume of music is overwhelming. Listeners struggle to find stuff. Artists struggle desperately to get noticed.
Drowning in content.
Exactly. And algorithms, while helpful, can also create filter bubbles. They might bury amazing music if it doesn't fit the vibe or get initial clicks.
So discovery gets harder in some ways.
It can, yeah. And that idea of music becoming wallpaper, always on, but maybe not always valued, that's a real concern.
What about the impact on the artists themselves, mentally?
Huge pressure. Artists like Shamali Colgate talk about music being their boldest self, but then they're stuck on this hamster wheel of constantly creating content, feeding the social media beast.
Having to be performers, marketers, influencers.
All at once. But maybe they just want to make music. It's exhausting. Some probably do just want to unplug and, live in a cave for a bit.
I can imagine. It raises that big question. Is this whole system sustainable for creators' well-being and for the art itself?
That's the million-dollar question, really.
Wow. Okay, so wrapping up on World Music Day 2025. It's clear music is still this vital thing, right? A lifeline, a memory trigger, a way we connect globally.
Absolutely.
Digital tech definitely made it more accessible, opened up creativity, made it more diverse, but man, it also made the industry this wild, unpredictable roller coaster.
Couldn't have said it better.
From DWs in bedrooms to streaming making us all curators, it's this huge symphony of innovation and, yeah, let's be honest, chaos.
A beautiful chaos sometimes.
Sometimes. So next time you're deep in a playlist or scrolling TikTok, just take a second. Remember, you're part of this massive shift that started way back with phonographs and somehow ended up in the cloud.
It's quite a journey.
And hey, if you are still rocking a Walkman, props for the retro cool. Just maybe don't expect an invite to the VR concert just yet. So what does all this mean for you listening right now?
Yeah, that's the final thought, isn't it? With all this music, all this choice, right at our fingertips. What is our relationship with it now? Are we just letting it wash over us as background noise? Or are we still truly connecting with the power, the artistry, the human struggle and joy behind the notes?
Something to think about next time you hit play.
Definitely something to think about.